overdue for an update. We have our TIG welding cart for the inverter machine. Wanted to keep this nice and upright to minimize footprint. So that's what we have there at the bottom. Originally, it was a lot shorter. These uprights were here, and we ended up tack welding these on when we started. And then we realized, hey, if we design this a little more modular, as our design evolves, it's easier to unbolt and bolt things back on. And having a co-op student, it's a perfect project to practice where things go, labeling, marking, visual cues as far as orientation of parts. And we've been prototyping, coming up with ways to prototype things quickly. So I'm drilling some holes for this pipe, drilling tapping to hold it in here, doing something similar with some 1/2-inch round bar, coming up with the best idea possible to make it look like it's an intentional design instead of something we had to do because we're trying to make it bolt together. And working on some handles now. What we did, we had some surplus pipe. It was actually on the oval side. So we took some ironworker slugs, pounded it into the end, and that means these ends would flare out a little bit. So we turned them down a bit, and we're gonna fuse around the diameter with TIG welding, and then we're gonna drill a hole for a piece of 1/2-inch round bar in order to fit them up onto the upright in order to tilt the cart and move it around. So that'll be an interesting one to see how that comes together. Next project, we made some modifications to our Porta Power pump, Enerpack, whatever you want to call it, 10,000 PSI pump. It had this handle here, which is about a 1/2 inch too tall to fit into the toolbox drawer. We have a project coming up where we're going to want to put this in the toolbox, at least temporarily, and try it out. So this is a little project. See, decent attention to detail. And it's an interesting design where it looks really long here once it's lifted up. You can see how it makes sense why it's that shape. The original one, of course, this stamping is really an ingenious design for how to make this part in mass-produced volumes. But we were just making one, so just did something quick and easy out of a piece of black pipe and a couple pieces of flat bar. And next one, we've got the, actually come in here a little bit better, magnetic drill. Oh, so this switch box here, which we made a while back, we needed to have a power cable, power control. It's 14.5, and took a little notch out of the top plate and a piece of angle that is drilled and tapped for some M5s. We're keeping it as metric as possible. And then these are 1/2 inch NPT electrical fittings here. So that fits on there. And that just needs final wiring, and we'll test it out. Fingers crossed. I believe we already showed this piece here, which replaced a twist lock plug, which was only a 3 conductor, and with having 4 conductors for the control and the power plus a ground, that twist lock was no longer a very good fit. So that's wrapping up hopefully shortly, and that's the main projects right now. It's looking pretty neat in here at the moment. Lots of space. TIG welding station is at a time where it's easier to visualize what's going on here. It still needs to be anchored a little bit better because there's no diagonal bracing. But overall, happy having some different spaces set up in the shop for doing different things and having better workflow than what there had been. So still lots of infinite room for improvements, but it's great to document the journey in terms of being able to look back and say, oh, we've come so far, so much we've learned, there's so much we can share with others, and oh, I remember back when it was like this. So taking these moments to reflect and share them with others, super helpful. If there's something we could be helpful with, please comment below and hopefully put it in our next shop update. Thanks.